Here's an update on the Mustang. Working on the shackles right now. I'm going to have lowering springs and then shackles, but it's going to have to be like that until I notch the floor and everything and figure out how I'm going to do that, because the drive shaft is going to be hitting the floor. So I just got some AutoZone shackles. They're 3/8. All four of them were bent out of the box, but I straightened them up so they're good now. Just painted them, and I'm going to be putting them in that hole. So that's what I'm working on right now. Rest of the car has changed a lot. Got new rims on it. Got them in a swap meet for really cheap with practically brand new tires. They're Outlaw ones. So the solid ones. Outlaw 2 had the holes, which is what I wanted, but these were a really good deal, so I just got those for now. Got the interior 90% done. The driver's seat needs to be welded up, and then I'll reupholster it, because it's firmly bolted into the car right now. That's bad. So, but I got the dash all done, everything's installed and wired up. There's no glove box, which I'm gonna have to make one, but got everything wired in there. Got the release in there for the trunk, and kind of fixed my radio delete plate a little bit, made it a little bit smoother. Still needs to be coated with some body filler, but it's getting there. I painted the dash, the instrument cluster, and the glove box. Painted them silver. And then I fabricated this little gauge mount here for my oil pressure gauge with some sheet metal. Wrapped a piece of sheet metal around the steering column to get the proper circle, and then traced it out onto this piece of metal, cut it out, and then just welded the two. It's just held on there with a hose clamp, so that way you can rotate it. And it's just got a kinda cheapo oil pressure gauge in there right now. I got my choke cable installed where the cigarette lighter used to go. That's a pretty nice one, it says Edelbrock equipped. So I got my wiring harness mostly installed. I got everything run to the back. It's the painless kit, and it's pretty good. I just got to route this to the engine bay and just hook up a few things, and then that should be good. Wiring should be pretty much done. Got my tail lights that are definitely not permanent, but they're just some Harbor Freight cheapo magnetic towing lights that I put on there, and then I just wired them into the taillight harness with little plugs so that I can unplug it and then plug in the Firebird taillights when I put those in. That's about it for the interior. I reupholstered this seat. Came out alright. It was a major pain, but instead of using hog rings, I used zip ties, and that made it a lot easier. So that when you're doing this part in here, you know, because you got to fold the upholstery inside out and then reach in through the foam and hook it to the frame. So zip ties made it a lot easier because I just routed in there and then just cinched it up. So that's what's going on with that. I finished all the floors. Not sure if I made a video of that, but that floor's all done and sealed. Got some of that leak seal stuff from Rust-Oleum. It's just in a can, and it's like truck bed liner kind of stuff. That worked pretty good. Did that repair, and then did some work under the cowl with the leak seal stuff. Can't really see, but sealed all that up so it doesn't leak anymore. I also sealed the inside of the cowl with that in the corners. And some people wanted an update on the removable cowl, and it's not quite finished yet. Still got to do the side mounts, but for the most part I think it's going to work. I kind of changed the mounting a little bit. Before I had the nuts welded to this piece and then you bolted it in through here, but that was a big pain to try and get it to work and line up. So I just put the bolts on this, had them sticking out. So you just tilt this in like this, slide it in, and then bolt it in, and it works. So I also painted the inside of the cowl, sealed all that up. Got the nose of the car installed and everything. Painted it all, except for that fender still needs to be painted, but this I just did with rattle can gloss black Rust-Oleum. Did 3 coats, wet sanded in between each coat, and then waxed it. It's pretty bad, but it protects the metal, so from 10 feet you can't really tell that it's horrible. Then the roof I painted correctly. I actually used Rust-Oleum paint that just comes in the quart cans. Thinned it out and used a Harbor Freight gun, but it actually came out really nice. I mean, I haven't even wet sanded it yet, and it's still all nice and smooth. So, after I wet sand that and put 3 coats on it, it'll be good. Here's the engine bay. Got the wiring harness in here. Voltage regulator, hooked up all the horns and everything. All this is all hooked up. Got the valance cut out here for my airflow. Just cut the stock metal one, folded the edges over. So I used to do this on the Trans Am Mustangs in '66. So that'll get more airflow to the radiator. Also installed the hood pins. They look kind of cool. So, got that. Hood scoop. Decided to use this hood, at least for right now. Hold on, I can't open the hood again. So I decided to use this hood, and then I'm thinking about possibly making my original hood into a cowl induction. I watched a bunch of videos and looked it up. Some restoration shops have made kind of homemade cowl induction hoods, and they made them look really nice. It doesn't look too hard, so I might try that with my other hood. The only thing is it's original to the car, so I don't know if I want to cut it up, but we'll see what happens with that. So that's about it right now. The motor's almost done. I got the short block finished last week. For the motor, I put everything all together. So now I just gotta find a cylinder head. And I'm getting the 78 or later 250 head, so it's got the largest valves and everything. And then I'm gonna put the tri-power on it. So it should be pretty cool when it's done. So anyway, that's about it for the Mustang right now.